Prudence dictates we repel invasive elements.
The Protectorate have dug themselves in real good. If we approach head-on, we're signing our own death certificates. We need another plan.
From the lowliest subject to the most exalted vigilant, we must all fulfill our duty to the Protectorate. We're all
Ain't opposed to that, but I reckon our better bet is bringing in some backup. There's a reason folk go on and on about strength in numbers.
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have and defend it.
Our enemies envy our
I keep telling you, Auntie's choice is right there. Cut a deal with them and you'll have their firepower in turn. You ought to consider it.
Auntie or the Order? I suppose it depends which flavor of ally interests you. Bits, math, or both.
preserve set progress, sustain the system.
Maybe in their giant domed headquarters? The one right by the landing pad?
Gray gone astray? Book a stay today.
Whatever you say, Commander.
Remember, all subjects prosper under... of our beneficent ruler, the Consul. The Consul provides the system of our...
Friendly company. They're fine.
They would drive us into disarray. Giving chase. Target reacquired in shelter. We shall stay there. I repudiate all Baffett's commercialists.
reconnect their supply lines now. We can get...
I don't think anything's out here.
Any news from the field? Any further progress? Well, excellent. Good show. I'll rest a bit easier tonight. Not as blissfully oblivious to our struggles as others here, mind you, but better. Anyhow, here's your reward. Pleasure doing business with you.
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
fast as I can, Commander! Medkit coming your way! Commander, this thing's got a mean streak. Yep, I'd do it for you.
Welcome, distinguished consumer, to the front lines of Auntie's Choice. We hope you
Welcome, big spender. Talk is cheap, but my time is not. No time to conversate.
Looks like you've come to talk business. What can I do for you? It appears to be a box of boot components. They should have been delivered to the quartermaster assigned to the camp guarding the elevator up to the archive. Don't expect me to help you with delivering them.
I'm open to ideas. What would you expect that they've done with the archive?
Clearly, they've added more automechs.
Here I have you to thank for my transfer going through from Winter's Grasp. Wouldn't have happened if you hadn't reconnected our territory. Anyhow, I'm grateful. Not in a free goods and services way, mind you, but in a fondly appreciative manner. How might I help you? Yup, Auntie's Choice heals all ails. Not responsible for epidermal necrolysis, vanishing fingerprints, or immediate onset pernicious anemia.
I cannot believe how bloody cold this place is. I can literally see my words freeze before my face as I say them.
Ah, stop complaining. At least this ship's hull breaks the wind. Imagine how bad it would have been out here before this thing fell.
The scrappers are getting closer and sniffing around at night. They give me the creeps.
I would rather have them
Welcome to
stabbing
Auntie's
me than
Choice.
attacking
We
us.
look for...
That wreckage isn't going to hold their interest forever. Eventually, they're going to come over here and see what we have that's worth taking.
scraps. Go away!
No! It's our scraps now. We finds it, we takes it. You go away!
Sharpen up. Hostiles nearby.
I'm alive. Who needs to...
Not seeing a shot.
Hello. So, I'm trapped. Messages to the order left unanswered. Tried to run. Got about 2/5 of me gouged out. A lot of blood. Lost now. Spent much of my life wondering what I'd say at the end. Trying to think of the words for this felt like reading a thesis before the presiding bishop. But a lot of people die, and not a lot of final words get remembered. Certainly no one will hear these. So why worry about being meaningful? What matters is who I was when I was alive. And if I was predestined to be ursapod food. I think maybe I would have liked to re-roll the odds.
That sending me into desolation would mend what he saw as wounds in my mind. The first few weeks were horrible. Grief dogging my every step. Nightmares of my murdered colleagues. But then, the nightmares began to ease, and the grief ebbed away. What replaced them is emptiness. The Order speaks of humanity becoming something more. But their words are insufficient speculation. There is nothing more to be. Only dust and death, and the rifts await us. Those rifts, I find the absolute annihilation they offer oddly soothing. Perhaps I will make one last pilgrimage. One last journey on the path from nothing to nowhere.
I have many solutions, but none for your problems by the look of you. Do your own research.
Another way across, perhaps? One that doesn't end in our untimely demise?
Sir, the extra food drop has landed somewhere off target over in Order territory.
Exactly where Keep walking. Go consume like a good consumer.
If you're not a go-getter, then go away.
Hey, you there. Got a minute? Hey, you there. I got a job that needs doing if you've got the time. It pays, of course. I need help finding some lost supplies. Well, I'll be. That's them, all right. Can I offer you a finder's fee for asset recovery? All right, here, keep your trousers on. Just don't tell anyone else. Can't have other folk expecting danger pay all the time. Can you reckon what the cost of danger pay for an army at war would be? It'd be ruinous.
Hey, Commander. Something tells me the Order won't be keen on letting an enemy...
Heard that
soldier
rift
walk
near
through
the
gates.
archive had...
Hey! Hey, you there. I got a job that needs doing if you've got the well, I'll be. That's them. Can you...
Tells me the Order won't be keen on letting...
Heard that rift... Halt! The Oracle Laureate sent ahead to expect someone matching your description. However, he said nothing about admitting questionable... allies. Cultist. Agitators are not permitted inside Laplace's garden. Your companion will have to wait outside.
How'd you like to find your insides waiting outside?
I find that an improbable outcome were we to engage in violent conflict. Laureate Beckett did impress the importance of not delaying you. Very well, head on in. But behave yourselves. The garden is something of a fragile ecosystem.
Impressed as I am that worked, I ain't sure about this. Being vastly outnumbered by the enemy ain't a corner I like to be backed into.
Agent, I have a message for you. Oh, I was not expecting you to be in the company of a cultist.
A cultist and her extremely sharp knife. Shall I introduce you?
No, that won't be necessary. Where was I? Oh, yes, I remember now. On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding Bishop Ruth Bassar, welcome to Laplace's garden. The presiding bishop is presently indisposed, but I've been instructed to direct you to the Artificer Laureate for whatever pressing matter has brought you to the garden. She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead and follow the first hall on your right. The Artificer Laureate is head of the Department of Applied Scientism, overseeing the exemplars, or craftsmen, of our order. Weapons and technology all fall under her purview. Oh no, not at all. The presiding bishop routinely spends time in a sensory deprivation chamber to hone her mental faculties. Of course, she does seem to be logging more hours in the chamber of late, but I'm certain that's all part of the plan. The rest of the Laureate Council is capable of managing affairs while the presiding bishop is occupied. Really, it's no reason for concern. Nothing in the garden is. Look around you. I don't see a battlefield. Do you? All conflict is transient in nature. To dwell on the negativity of a moment is to risk missing the opportunity of what comes next. Those in the garden have enough perspective to remain present and to focus on what matters: science and progress. It may seem like I'm speaking from a position of luxury and privilege, but it is a privilege the Order hopes to share with all one day. Oh, I nearly forgot. Vicar Alden also asked me to direct you to him. He should be waiting for you in Belvedere Hall's main courtyard, at the top of the stairs. May all your problems precede solutions.
What are we standing around jawing for? There's mayhem and murdering to be done. This place smells like science.
Keep your behavior within.
Or maybe that's math.
I won't think twice about applying the precise amount of force.
I'm cutting you off there, Charles. That's your third conviction today. People will start to work. Welcome to the CAF integration point. Will it be caffeine or convictions today? Convictions are statements which promote personal and professional confidence and well-being, leading to 22.9% more scientific breakthroughs in a given quarter. Interested? Between you and me, I've always felt the same. What good are words if they're not accompanied by action? Forget the convictions. Let's talk about you, my discerning friend. I haven't spied you around before. New project appointment? Must be an adjustment, all things considered. I see. And what lucky department have you been apportioned to? Surely it must be one of the big three. That would account for the personal arsenal. You know, I'm actually nearing the end of my shift. If you're amenable to continuing our chat somewhere more private, I think we could both benefit. Right this way.
In times of peril, remind yourself, contentment is found by accepting your role in the grand plan. Understanding your place, knowing your course.
You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous. Allow me to whet your appetite for intrigue a little further, shall I? I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden. You might put down your proverbial hand once you hear the specifics. The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply. Moderate your volume, please! No one here is in any immediate peril. Probably. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of pharmaceutical breakthrough, imagine how useful it might be to certain parties to know about it in advance. I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested? So you've heard of us. Good. That makes this easier. My primary task has been to watch the Order. But I'm confident my superiors would agree. Physical proof is of far greater value than mere rumor. Nothing nefarious, if that's the needle in your conscience. We only mean to study the drug and consider all of its many applications. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more detail than that. Well, I'm not asking you to do something an honest person would. Think of this as a business transaction, if that eases your mind. No, this is about control. Everything is. Most see this as a war of survival. But what everyone's really fighting for is control over the narrative. To be declared victor and have their vision for Arcadia deemed superior. It follows that a drug capable of suppressing discontent could also be used to suppress greater forms of resistance. That's all. All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it perspective. This passcode will give you access to the main terminal. Watch the guards patrol before making your way into the facility. If worst comes to worst, I wager Laureate Beckett also has a keycard on him, but that might be tricky to lift. Lately, he's been sitting near the fountains, performing his silly little breathing exercises. If he's not there, then he's likely in conference with the presiding bishop. Whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood? It's too diluted by the time it enters circulation. I need the unfiltered drug, which is only accessible to those working in water reconditioning. Outside of work, I have, let's call it an alternative inventory. You'll have to pay, of course, but I'm sure I have something that'll make your job a little easier. And I'd like to offload some of this merchandise. Sounds like a win-win.
Satisfaction to the nearest 10th integer.
Oh, 100? Certainly. That's the right answer, isn't it? I can show my math if you need. I'd really love to stay.
Determining the remainder of your stay in Laplace's garden is not the purpose of this survey, but your unprompted insecurity has been noted.
The scientician's surplus. No more than what you need.
And now, additional data and/or music determined to facilitate...
Welcome to the Scientician's Surplus. I am the scientician in question. Any inquiries about the stock may be directed to me. Either you intend to buy or you intend to go without. It would be unethical for me to interfere with your decision-making process. It's there in the name, surplus. Of course you would.
Every day treating us. The operating theater is not conducting viewing dissections at this time. That is not an invitation to return to your study and perform exploratory surgery on yourself or a willing volunteer, just to be clear. There is curiosity and there is recklessness. I've learned not to trust the younger, more inexperienced members of our order to know the difference. But I trust you are here for a reason other than to discuss scalpel-happy novices. Obviously. Do you think we drink unfiltered snow melt? I'm quite sure I have no knowledge of what you're talking about. Are you feeling all right? Paranoia can be an early symptom of several more serious diseases. Apologies. I have so little that meets the threshold of my expertise. But I should not be projecting my wish for a challenge onto a patient. Let's forget this conversation. Is there anything else I can assist you with? That is best answered through observation. Here, have a look.
prime real estate, and it's sitting abandoned. Reckon it even occurred to the Order that they could board the folk at Matriarch's Mercy here?
Ancillary expressions that would invalidate our original solution. Mention of these topics risks catastrophic, predeterminative discontinuity. Let's move on.
A listener asks, can I learn how to make predictions about my own life?
Well, let's calamitous theory. In no uncertain terms, you must never calculate the wrong course.
Recommend you vacate my immediate vicinity. Mind your truth table P's and Q's now. No legitimate key card, no entry. Unauthorized visitors are not authorized. Do I need to diagram that for you? Access is not cracking will not be tolerated. I highly recommend you vacate my immediate vicinity.
If you need to discharge any sputum, I ask you kindly aim such accretions away from my general direction. Thank you. As a natural byproduct of human physiology, no, of course not. As a vector of disease transference, most assuredly, yes. I have a great deal of respect for infectious agents, in a very normal and legitimate manner. And so would you, if you valued your future health. I beg your pardon. The plan empowers us to make choices that are beneficial to the whole of the universe. I choose not to contract or spread preventable diseases. Is that so wrong? No, you misunderstand the logic inherent to the plan. Oh, how I wish I had the time to educate you, but alas, I'm rather too busy at the moment. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today, right here, at these very coordinates. Oh no. You know what they say about having too many totalizers on the same sum? Nothing gets solved. All the more reason I rely on my own math these days. Less room for error. Leslie Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis and... not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently. Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You understand. But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings. How unexpected. Almost as if there's a universal plan at work in the universe. Please return when you've found all four. I will be here. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. How do you know about that? I mean, that is quite the allegation. I deny it effusively. I've already lost enough enamel to age. Thank you very much. First, answer me this. What is your interest in this matter? As much as I relish the idea of entrusting a stranger with sensitive and potentially incendiary information, I shall have to decline further comment. Perhaps if you were to help me out with recovering those logs I asked for, I could be more amenable to sharing knowledge, but let's put a pin in that for now, shall we? If there's nothing else, I would like to return to my deep breathing exercises.
I hope you have good news for me. I knew I had the right person for the job. You've saved me quite the headache. Your reward, as promised. Aw, wondering if you'll ever see me again? Precious. I'll remain in the garden a little while longer, but it would be best if we limited contact with one another. No offense. But who knows? The plan mystifies even the greatest minds. Perhaps our paths will intersect again someday.
Lift access is currently restricted. Keep moving.
Hey! Only secure. At this time, residents of Laplace's garden are not permitted beyond this point.
You. I don't know who you are. But if you thought it wise to bring a cultist into the heart of Order territory, you are deeply foolish. I have not the slightest theory as to how you bypassed our guards. But if it was through violence, be assured, it will be returned exponentially. Explain. Now.
Damn straight I am. I'm a lot more stabby now.
Whatever your circumstance, words alone will not gain my trust. And if you do not gain my trust, you shall not gain that of the Order, which I expect is what you desire. There is a cultist-centric issue the Order needs resolved. I suspect you are capable of doing such. If you are not, I cannot trust you, and certainly cannot allow you to see Ruth.
If these cultists are suffering the same affliction of being traitorous curs as the others seem to be, then I look forward to killing them.
My task is this. A myriad of cultists have taken over the settlement of Newton, which is a nearby site of historical but not strategic significance. I want them gone. Once there was a bridge stretching from the settlement to the archive, but it was destroyed by a rift. Best keep your distance should you travel there.
Well, then it seems today is your lucky day. the Dawn and Newton have been dealt with. By us. Care to hear all the bloody particulars? Of course. How could you think otherwise? That was the best part.
You saw a problem and followed your own methods to solve it. I can admire that. Here's something for your trouble. If you removed Newton's unsightly blemish, I believe you may be trustworthy. I have reasons something predicted has come to pass. One of the satellites comprising the Hyperion web was struck by a wayward craft and crashed on Paradise Island. I need someone to recover an informational component from it. I hope your zeal is properly placed. The Protectorate soldiers guarding the crash site are unlikely to let you close, unless something else is made to arrest their attention. I cannot say how that might be accomplished, unfortunately. Some of our scholars find answers to their solutions at the CAF integration point. Perhaps you might do the same. Collect the data from the crashed site and return it here. May the odds prevail against your bloody demise.
What is with the anomalous behavior? Well, aren't you the eccentric sort?
If it isn't my favorite collaborator. I thought I said we shouldn't be seen together. You did sharpen my pencil, so I suppose sharpening yours is only fair. I'll put in a word with my associates to pass along to whatever protectorate forces are on site to expect you. It's no guarantee, but at least they won't fire upon you on site. In exchange for my help, however, I want you to bring the data back here so that I can make a copy of it. Before you hand it over to the Order, to be clear. Do we have an accord? And now you'll help me out more. So sweet of you, really. We do work well together, don't we? Return here when you have the data. I'll be waiting.
Fortune! Our technician manifests at last. Halt there. You match the description of the technician we have been vigilantly awaiting, but as they say, assumptions made are mistakes readied. Present yourself, so that I may take the measure of you.
That's right. A dismantling at this scale? Why, that could cause a cascade effect resulting in total deorbit of the whole Hyperion.
What? Spare me your technical argot and hop to it then!
People are gonna start to talk. Aren't you reliable? I just need one moment to copy the data. There, all done. Thank you ever so much. Was there anything else you wish to discuss?
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. Not by a factor of thousands. You'll have to tell me about your scholastic experiences someday, colleague. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this. But if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
Well, this is a welcome confluence of events. Why, without you, Gertie and I wouldn't be alive. And any hope of peace between the Order and Auntie's choice would be over. Dreadful, you know. Positively dreadful. How the peace talks were interrupted. I felt our two delegations were making real progress. While making our escape, we encountered one of the renegades of my Order, wounded and dying. He sought to unburden himself, now convinced Wiley's calculations were wrong. He told us all about that terrible DeVries woman's plan, and theorized you must have stopped her. Well, I think that's what he said. There was quite a lot of gurgling. You have mine and Gertie's utmost gratitude for intervening. Had she succeeded in assassinating us, it would have terminated any hope for peace. Despite the inherent complexity of such disparate factors converging, I do not share your pessimism. Peace talks between the Order and Auntie's choice have admittedly stalled. However, Gertie and I have kept up communication through back channels, in hopes to reconvene discussions. To begin, I believe you would need to put forth efforts in good faith with each of the two groups. Earning the trust of both sides is essential. You're already on your way, in that respect. Once you've worked your way up to meeting our respective leaders, you must convince them to consider joining forces. Oh, really? Perhaps the challenge rating is far less than I've hitherto calculated. Well, obviously you'll likely have to act as an intermediary between Ruth and Auntie, which will require some verbal finesse. But let's worry about that step upon reaching it. Transplendent. Remember, seek out ways to help both sides, engender trust. Gertie and I can let you know when it's time to move forward. In the meantime, I might recommend you work on honing your oratory skills. Our presiding bishop and Auntie Cleo can be challenging to debate with.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. As I told you in my message, a splinter group was responsible for recruiting your fellow agent and tasking her to perpetrate that heresy. The conviction of those radicals was such that they elected to perish from exposure to Cloister's wilderness to avoid fouling their predictions and my interference. Their interpretation of the data was at odds with mine. I forbade them taking action, to no avail, obviously. I disavowed their actions then, as I do now.
That sure will be some comfort the next time one of my stumps seizes up.
This kind of collateral damage is precisely what I was hoping to avoid. But that is the past. We must look toward the future now. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, third presiding bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, supreme calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. I admit, when I sent my initial message, I did not exactly know who its recipient would be. But I trusted the plan. And lo and behold, it provided you as the solution. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. Sorry to disappoint. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. It's recently come to my attention that secret communications have been exchanged between Laplace's garden and the undisputed claim. Do you know anything about that? I should have known. Vicar Levin has made this appeal to me at least thrice since his return. He really cannot accept a solution he did not devise. Wise enough to recognize the perils, too. But the right course often involves remaining open to new possibilities. I will put the question to you one final time. Are you certain you would rather pursue this path than work exclusively with the Order? There will be no future option to reconsider. Then I will endeavor to bring that vision to fruition, if the plan wills it. A true in-person meeting between myself and Auntie could never take place due to the security risks. But perhaps a remote conference could be a viable alternative. The odds of you persuading Auntie Cleo to agree are unfavorable. But the math does improve if you have greater standing within her corporation. Once you have met with Auntie, instruct her to send me a communique. We can finesse the details of a conference then. My time is yours, for the moment. Call it proof of concept. Laplace's garden is more than its aesthetic. It offers a vision of a future free from the despotic rule of narrow-minded jingoists, where the fruit of the plan can finally ripen. It saddens me to see the garden so despoiled by our wartime presence. But with the loss of Spyreton, necessity dictated we quarter here in the interim. Oh, the Laureate Council simply draws a name out of a hat. Serious study does not preclude a sense of humor, though apparently being an Earth Directorate agent does. In reality, I was recommended for my position by the preceding bishop. Paired with my skills as a seer, I was the natural choice when it came time for the council to vote. My predecessor, presiding Bishop Orlo, and I had a close working relationship. He knew I possessed the skills and temperament for the role. I counted him a friend. Orlo shared with me his doubts about the Order's partnership with the Protectorate, the compromises made. He had many such regrets at the end of his life. Likely not, but it is the responsibility of every student to surpass their mentor in understanding and sentiment. And I can reliably assert that I have done that. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.